Ciao, Bello. Welcome to the first wrap. My name is Cambria, and you may know me as Lettuce, Kimberly. What else do I go by? Tin Man. You name it. I'm there. I am your host slash cultivation manager slash nursery grower slash whatever the hell you need in your garden. If you have a problem in your garden, just know I am here to solve it, and that is what this podcast will encompass. Take one. Take one. Ciao, Bello. Welcome home to the podcast where you can put those growing pains away and pick up an ounce of relief. I am bringing you straight grow room shit, but in shop talk on a podcast. I am literally here to make your life easy and share my experience in hopes that you are going to take something right to your garden. Are we rolling? This podcast is for growers by growers. You're going to find people that are going to be talking about real growing issues, people that actually spend days in and days out in the facilities, banging the shit out. I decided to start this podcast because, number one, I love to talk. I get a lot of questions and messages asking me about my growing experience. I didn't realize how many people were actually interested. So, this is a place where you can find all that information. I'm going to take you in this episode, the first wrap, through my journey, how I ended up here, because I did not ever think that this was going to be my life passion, truly and for sure. So, let's get right into it. I am Canadian. I come to you from Canada, but I was not always in British Columbia. I settled here. Where did I come from and how did I get there? That is the question everyone is wondering, and I'm going to tell you right now. I was born and raised in Northern Ontario. I spent a little bit of time in Alberta, loved that too. I moved here from Ontario, and where in Ontario, you may ask? Sault Ste. Marie. So if I got any Saultites listening, shout out, hope you made it out alive. Just kidding. It's a good city. Well, it's a small city. I'm used to the small city vibe where people didn't lock their doors. Everyone was friendly. I'm Italian, so we had the whole family living on the block. I'm a high school dropout, and it wasn't because I was smoking weed. In fact, I didn't actually start smoking weed until, oh my God, maybe I was like 18 or 19. I really didn't think too much about weed, honestly. It wasn't really in my array of what I did. I was the high school kid that was drinking wine. I decided to finally get my equivalent and proceeded to go to college for a condensed hairstyling program. The two people that I see usually in the cultivation teams, number one, the people that have went to school for it. These are smart individuals. These are growers that are the data collectors. They are the ones that are very precise and strategic. And the second kind of grower And the second kind of growers I see are the growers like me. We are high school dropouts. We have minimal college and we have a lot of experience. So, we just kind of learned through experience. Both types of growers, very valuable to the industry. That's another reason why I made this podcast, because I want it to be community based. And so, what do I mean when I say community based? Essentially, what I'm talking about is, why does it have to be this or that? Throughout the duration of my career, working with over 15 plus facilities, I have learned that if we extended a hand and were nicer to one another and were respectful of our past, we could actually learn a lot more about our craft. There are so many things that I've picked up from different growers, and I've used all of it. It's all in the noggin. Let's bring it back to where it all started. My girlfriend had posted a Snapchat story asking who wanted to go to the Mom Cup, and I had no idea what that was. I was so game. Let's fucking do it. What are we doing? And so we end up on a plane, me, her, and her grandmother, okay, on the plane to Vancouver. We get off the plane. I'm looking around. I'm seeing the SkyTrain. I'm seeing fresh air. I was 19. I had my whole life ahead of me. I was working at a salon, Main Street Salon and Spa. Shout out Main Street. So if I hadn't been a grower, I would have absolutely still been at Main Street Salon and Spa. Shout out Krista and the crew. Krista was actually my first mentor. She was the one that taught me what it was like to be a business owner. I really didn't know at the time how that was going to shape my whole entire career. Even though I'm not in the hairstyling industry anymore, she had taught me so many things about business and efficiency and just being a good person to your clients and to your customers, that stuck with me for the rest of my life. So Krista, if you're listening, thank you so much. That had such a crazy impact. And I took that and I use that now on my clients. And though I'm not doing their hair and we're servicing their gardens, it holds heavy. I get off the plane and I'm thinking, I got Krista's face in my head and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, what am I going to do about my job? Because I can feel myself falling. If you've ever fallen in love, or if you've ever really been so passionate about something, you know what I'm talking about, when you can feel yourself falling and there's nothing you can do and you're like right here just watching it all happen. That's exactly what was happening to me when I got off the plane in Vancouver. We end up going to the Mom Cup. This was revolutionary for me. I was always a joint smoker. So when I got there, I could not even haul off a pipe. My lungs were so weak. And by the time I left Vancouver, I am telling you, oh my God, it was like breathing air. It's February in Vancouver, okay? It's cold as all hell. Me and my girlfriend, we were from Northern Ontario. These snowbanks were taller than us some years growing up. And this was the coldest I had ever been. I'm telling you right now. So we're sitting there, slipping down the slidewalk, waiting for our shuttle to pick us up. This guy picks us up. We're freezing. We get into the car. He's smoking a joint. He's like, we're on our way to the Mom Cup. And we're like, hell yeah. Anyways, he takes this joint. He's driving. He's like, does anyone want a hoot? And then he literally throws it in the back seat. One of us is like trying to catch it, and I'm like, oh my God, people in Vancouver pass joints by throwing them. So for literally the whole 5 days, I was just throwing joints at people because I thought that's what people did here. So looking back at that now, that was so funny. So we ended up going to the Mom Cups. We were just like so in awe. We were smoking all this weed in the Dab Bar. We loved the Dab Bar. I'm on the flight home and I'm like really doing some self-reflection at this point, and I'm like, I gotta go. So exactly 8 months after I got back from Vancouver, I ended up moving. I left 8 months from the date that I flew back from the Mom Cup. However, I didn't make it to Vancouver right away. I spent some time in Alberta. So I spent about a year off and on in Alberta and Abbotsford. And at that point, I wasn't even doing hair anymore. You know, I spent a little bit of time in Alberta, lived in Edmonton for a bit. The year that weed was legalized, so 2018 was actually the year I decided to move across the country. I went from having a super plug at home to now I can't even find weed. I'll paint the picture for you. It's October 2018. I'm like maybe 20, I think. I think I was 20. Was I 21? I'm just going to paint the picture for you real quick. Moving across the country for the first time in my life, first time I even ever left the Soo. I don't want to talk ill, but we did not have a lot of money growing up. And so I had never even left the Soo before up until this point. And I decided I was going to move across the country and make it work. I was a hungry hairstylist wanting to be the youngest woman to own a salon in downtown Vancouver. That was what I wanted, but that is not what happened. That really was not what happened. My life purpose started the day that I entered into this industry. So, yeah, coming out here, being a little bit naive, thinking everything was going to be fine, realized that I actually had no money. So, I mean, I had to do something about finance. I don't even know the cannabis industry exists at this point. Like, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking I'm going to go start serving again because that's how I can make a lot of money in a short period of time. So I can fund my dream of opening up the biggest hair salon in Gastown, run by the youngest woman in the world. Like, it was just, I look back at it now and I'm just like, damn. So I start serving and I start serving at the White Spot. I want to kind of embrace this new BC version of myself. And I thought, what better way to do that than to work at a restaurant that is BC owned? I'm serving at the White Spot. I meet this girl. This girl comes up to me. She's a server. She's working in the bar and we end up grabbing a bite to eat. And she's like, we're going to be best friends. And you know what? To this day, we are. We're kicking it back. We're having a good time. It was late 2019. People were freaking out about COVID. I'm at the White Spot. I've got a 12 top and I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, oh my God, it's coming. And I don't know what it is. I've never lived through a pandemic before. I was like, fuck. I don't want to be in the general public right now. So then I decided serving isn't for me, not really too sure about the hair thing. I need to find something else. So the girl I was talking about, her name's Mel. She comes to me and she goes, do you want a landscaping job? I've never done it, but I could do it. That doesn't sound like there's any COVID on it. Sure, let's do it. Once we open the doors, I just see all these cannabis plants and I'm thinking, oh my God, I love landscaping. I did start off in more of a gray area, if you will, but I feel like that really built me in the grower that I am now. I did a lot of casual work. So when I first started at this landscaping job, I was very casual. They would call me for 5 days and then I wouldn't have any work for a couple weeks. And that happened for a period of time. I felt this gravitational pull. This work isn't super sustainable right now, but I feel like I need to prioritize it. And again, at this point, I am not thinking about hair at all anymore. So that was kind of different for me because my identity prior to this was I'm a hairstylist. Like that's who I am. So I was having an identity crisis. I was in a place that I didn't have very many friends, no family, just me figuring it out. So when work started picking up, that's when I really thought, okay, I would see a system, I would see how we were doing it. And I found my brain trying to articulate it better. How can we do this faster? How can I save labor costs? That's when these questions and these ideas started coming into my brain. I was reading this book about taking responsibility. And in the book, it was saying that to take responsibility, all you need to do is decide that you are the best person for the job. All right. So I'm like, okay. At the first farm, I stayed there consecutively for about 3 or 4 years. My first farm was the perfect place where I could grow my skill. It was a very good place. A lot of things were happening. I was introduced to a lot of new concepts, growing methods. I did see a few different growing styles while I was there. So that was really great for me. But I was working 12s. I was working 16s. I was just always constantly working engulfed in my job and how to make it better. That's when I feel the most of who I am. I consecutively worked there for 4 years, not going to any other facilities. I want to say it was about a year or two after I started that I worked myself up to cultivation manager. I wasn't really looking to become a manager at any point in this. We ended up having a turnover of some people at our facility. And so I kind of got bumped into the spot. Getting bumped into that spot was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, though. In those 2 first years of me kind of overseeing and managing the majority of what happens. I mean, I was managing everything else when it came to tracking hours, employees, training, figuring out who was a good fit for what job. All of the garden tasks were scheduled on a perpetual harvest. We've got rooms coming down. We've got a bunch of shit happening. We got a veg room. We got the nursery. We got the trimming. It was a lot of moving parts. And that's what I really love about this industry. During my time as a cultivation manager, I was approached a lot by employees or people that I worked with saying that you should start your own company. You should start your own thing because you have what it takes to carry this on. My belief in myself didn't come from within at first. It came from the people that I worked with that believed in me. That's another reason why I wanted to start this podcast. If you have the ambition or the interest to do something in this industry, let me be the push that you need. Let me be there for you to say that you can fucking do it. Because if it wasn't for the growers and the employees that I was working with to tell me, hey, you need to fucking do this, I probably never would have even considered it. I would have been happy just picking leaves for the rest of my life. I didn't realize it yet, but I was actually creating SOPs. Didn't really know what an SOP was at the time. I was just creating these Excel sheets and spent like 100 hours learning how to use Excel so I could print off these sheets to help the flow of the business work better. I mean, as we know, things are not linear. There was a time where I thought, you know what? Maybe cannabis isn't for me anymore. So I did have a small break. I think I was gone from the industry for a whole 2 months. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to serving it. So I go back to serving. I fucking realized that I hate it and I really need to be with cannabis again. So I ended up reaching out to a local contracting company and was like, hey, if you have any positions available, would love to work on your team. Ended up working there. And then at some point later on down that journey, I ended up managing the crew of people that I was working with. This is actually where I was introduced to the legal side of the industry while I was working for this trimming company. And that was when my confidence was like locked inside of me. I was like, holy shit, like I have what it takes to do this. It really just affirmed what I was doing. I worked with them for a while and it was really great. I met new contracts that I otherwise wouldn't, and I'm still very grateful for the opportunity, but I still felt like I'm not fulfilled in the way that I wanted to be. So I'm like, you know what? I am going to take all these plans and I'm going to actually put them into place. That's when I started Lilith and Lettuce. In the duration of Lilith and Lettuce, I was booked solid. There were times where I would wake up at 4 a.m, get ready, get the dog ready. And then I would work in the morning at one facility, go home, shower, and then go to the other facility. I would be out forever. And then I've had times where it was really shitty. When I first started the contracting business and I didn't have all those, cool, flashy videos where people could actually see what I was doing, it was really hard. I'm telling you, I had to do Instacart for months because I really needed to do it. There was no fucking money coming in. And at this point, I had been in the industry for 4 years and I was not about to give this up. So I thought it's sink or swim right now. So it was at that point that I decided that I needed to make my own company and I wanted to service people how I see fit, because given the opportunity to go through all of these facilities, I was seeing the same things. Like I was seeing the same problems arise in each of these facilities. Thank God, because these were really, really easy problems to fix. A lot of the problems that we have in our grow rooms are super easy to fix. We just have to identify them. And I want to help you do it. So when I started Lilith and Lettuce, it was a confusing time for me because I was trying to be loyal and respectful to the farms I previously worked at, and also trying to pave my way in the industry as well. Very confusing time. When I first branched out, people kind of knew me from the farm I was working at, and I realized that I wanted to have my own identity in the industry. So then I thought to myself, I want to showcase all the farms that I'm working at. I almost wanted it to be like a product review. So instead of product reviews, I would be reviewing the farms and showcasing their amazing work. And it wasn't till honestly taking different contracts and traveling around that I realized how many facilities were so amazing. Some of these facilities that I went to, in the inside, these men are brilliant. Like every time I go to a new facility, I think, oh my God, that man is brilliant. How can I be more like these men in this industry so that I can also be successful? That was my question. And that's kind of what I'm still trying to figure out. I want to excel at this, and I want to show respect to the growers that have paved the industry for us. I'm not a black market grower by any means. I'm from Legacy, but I still have a lot of learning to do. I'm grateful for where I've come from, and I'm excited to be in the position that I'm in because I want to teach. I want to teach the things that I've learned. I want to provide you with what you need to be successful in your grows. That's a huge thing for me. And to be honest, that's why people hire me. That's why I have contracts. I mean, I started off just servicing the Lower Mainland and the Greater Vancouver area. Since I've started the company, we have grown to be servicing the Vancouver Island district as well. I'm grateful for every single facility and farmer that had given me a chance. My goal eventually would be to have contractors servicing Ontario and Alberta as well. Within the next few years, I am going to be providing content for new growers, whether it's ebooks, courses, consultation. June of this year, I actually started my growing journey. I finally was given the opportunity to become a nursery grower with the Quad Farmers. I was like packed and ready to go. I know just as much as you and every other fucking living out there that this shit gets so lonely and we don't need to be fighting. And I know it's hard to trust people, and I want to share it all with you. And I want you to feel comfortable to share it with me too. So I am looking for guest speakers to come on the podcast. If you are a farmer, if you are a micro, an LP, greenhouse, whatever it is that you do, even hash makers, I welcome you all. I want to interview you and I want to know who you are. Everyone's journey is so different in this industry. I want to see what you've done and I want to celebrate you. So let me celebrate you in a way where the industry can see that there are good people here still and that care about each other. I mean, I care about your craft so much. I've decided that people that grow weed are actually just crazy and we're just insane problem solvers. Like, who does this? Like, I love us. I think we're fucking insane though. We are trying to grow cannabis indoors and replicate the environmentals that are exactly outside of the four walls that we're trying to grow within, depending on your climate and where you are. But I mean, generally, June of this year, I reconnected with a grower and harassing this man for a job. Like when I find a company that I think is amazing, I will message you and I will harass you and I will try to work for you. I will try to save you fucking money, god damn it. I ended up getting my first opportunity to actually have a grower's position. The fact that someone actually seen me and was like, you know what? We're going to give lettuce a chance. We're going to see what you got. This was a humbling point for me. Like I thought I knew a lot about weed until I started growing it. I don't know shit. Okay, that's how it felt. Okay, and that's really honest to God how it felt. But with a little bit of patience and some research and actually believing in myself, leaving my self doubts behind and realizing I actually do know quite a bit about fucking cannabis, I got up on my horse and I started learning. So I've been on my growing journey for the past 6 months and I would love to take you with me. Now let's get into what we should expect for this podcast moving forward. Number one, respect. If you engage with me, I will respect you. If you are a grower, I will respect what you've done. And if you have an issue, we will not judge you. Doesn't matter your skill set, doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry, I will not judge you and I will respect you. Number two, full transparency. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Number three, full transparency. Full authenticity. What does that mean when I say authenticity? It means I'm me and I'm unapologetically going to always be that. So if you need a friend, I am there. If you need someone to uplift you, I will 100% be in your corner. My mission is to give farmers a real platform to share their stories. Of course, we want to know about all of the crazy advantages that this industry has flourished over the past couple of years. But what I want to dive into is the actual grower themselves. Like we say, everyone wants to know how the grow is, but no one ever asks about the grower. I am interested in the man behind the vision. I am also a man behind a vision. Just a different vision and a different man. And by man, I mean woman. I am not confused. Farmers deserve to be represented by people who are actually in the garden, not people that have never stepped a day in the garden a day in their life. I step in the garden every single day of my life, and I would love to share that with you. I don't think there's anyone better to bring this podcast to you other than me because I actually care. I care about the grower. I also care about saving you time and money. This could look like resources that are actually accessible to growers. I want to aid in lowering labor costs. That's a huge one for me. As I've been on more than one cultivation team, I know exactly how much work goes into every single task. And that is why you should trust what I'm saying. I have been the one to do all of the jobs. I have personally done every single garden task by myself. Okay. So when we were short staffed, we were short staffed. And so kind of got to fucking do it yourself. So I just wanted you to know that I understand exactly what you're going through. I understand the problems that you're facing, whether it be labor costs, compliance issues, IPM management, or anything in between. And I would like to be the one to help you with them. So if you'll trust me in this journey or keep watching the next episode, I will bring to you all the things that I know in hopes that it helps you along the way. Thank you so much for tuning into the first wrap. I really appreciate you listening this far. Yeah. What does being a grower look like? It looks like blood, sweat, and tears. It looks like hard ass work. It looks like labor. It looks like getting up at 4 a.m. after working 12 hours and getting to the grind anyways because you've got a 2-hour commute to work. Your challenges deserve to be understood. So I think I've given you a pretty basic understanding of who I am as a cultivator and where I came from. At this point, I've probably talked your ear off, so I'm going to wrap this up right now. My goal for the future of this podcast is to give you in-depth insight nuggets of growers and the grow world so that you can take them and implement them to your program. I want to see us all win, and I would love to be an olive branch of knowledge to help you do that. Whether you have more or less experience than me, perhaps there is something that I know that would help you in your garden. And that is what I hope to do. I also welcome you to be a part of my podcast as well. Like previously stated, I really want this to be a community-based thing. And what makes this industry? us, the growers make the industry go. And I want to talk to you. The farmers are what make the industry go round, and I want to interview you. If you are a cannabis farmer, I want to speak with you. Lettuce Wraps is where I'm going to take you through the theory of the plant while taking my practical experience and applying it to the concepts in hopes to make otherwise dry material not so dry, and to make some of those more dense topics more easily obtainable. With the research and the knowledge, plus my funky fresh personality and my experience, I am going to bring you the show for all cultivators. All right, we're all sitting here surviving, trying to get through the noise, so let's fucking do it together. Thank you for tuning into Lettuce Wraps, and I will see you next Sunday at 8 p.m. where I'm going to get into germination, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about some stupid shit that I did when I first started. And if by chance you are doing some of the things, you have the opportunity to correct them, and we love it. I don't want you to miss any part of this. We've got some really great nutritional nuggets in there. Are you sick and tired of labor shortages? Are you sick and tired of trellis net not being cut long enough? And are you sick and tired of seeing your trellis this close together? What about those lower branches that no matter how hard you instruct your team to put the trellis low enough, they never do? What about trimming? What are some issues we see with trimming? I see a lot of inconsistencies with trimming, especially when the crew is not all doing the same thing. I've seen about 15% of growers' yields get trimmed off. And I don't want that to happen to you. This is the same thing for defoliating. You don't want to be picking off your yield, but you want to be picking off exactly enough to get the results that you want. A lot of people don't realize that when you're doing pruning, it's more than just airflow and light penetration. It really is what is going to be the finished product of this flower and or hash, shatter, and or extract. When I'm servicing a new facility or even a facility I've already been at, but they're growing new genetics, you really need to take that into consideration. Defoliation is not just about light penetration and airflow. It's a haircut for the individual strain. You can tell where to defoil a plant once you've seen that shit flower. If you haven't seen the genetics you're growing flower to know exactly how high or low you have to take your updressing and or defoliation. What helps me is looking at structure and internodal spacing. That is your best friend. The structure of the plant and the internodal spacing. How many colas does that bitch have? And how far along is each flowering site to the next flowering site? I have seen so many times crew members with little to minimal direction just pick off your entire yield, and quite frankly I can't watch it. I don't want to see it anymore. We're going to ignite that spark again, and not only are we going to do that, but we are going to be setting a great example for the new generations of growers in this industry. It's very important for the newer generation to look up to leaders in the industry who care about evolving it into a positive way, and I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you need to be a part of that as well. So come along. We're going to dive into some technical shit. We're going to talk about experiences. We're going to laugh at the stupid shit I've done over the years because it's funny. And after years of like living in the shadows and keeping to myself, I'm very happy to actually now get to talk with people about this journey. I just want to get one thing off my back right now. I am not claiming to be an expert. I am not claiming to have more knowledge than any other farmer out there. What I want to do is simply just share my experience to everyone so we can all have a good laugh and we can all learn something, or at least have some techniques that will change the game for you. I am a dominant professional in this industry, and I have some things that will improve your workflow. And if you want to know those things, please stay tuned because I would love to share them for you. And these systems that I have taught myself, I'm talking it's going to take an 8-hour shift of 2 people, 1 6-hour shift with 1 person. Okay. And I'm not making any promises here, but I'm saying if I can do it, you can do it too, for sure. So I want you to stay tuned. I want you to get value out of this podcast, and I want to put a smile on your face. When was the last time you smiled? Did you even smile today? So yeah, you need to just tune in to next week. Every facility has their own way of doing things, and we don't want to change that. I think that facilities run a certain way because they know what works, okay? But there are some things that might be able to be fine-tuned or run a little bit more efficiently, and that's what I'm talking about. What I hope is to give you tidbits of information that will complement what you already have going on, okay? So we're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to improve, if that makes sense. This podcast is intended for the grower in mind. I would love it if before you started your shift, you would turn on lettuce wraps. I want to hold positive space for you as a grower. Ultimately, I want to provide you a safe spot to talk shop with me. I want to laugh with you. I want to cry with you. And I want to grow weed with you. So let's fucking do this thing. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode because we are going to be talking about germination. It's the germination station, baby. It's fucking groovy, baby.